And he wants his life to be in his control so that he never loses the overview. And this case, he again reiterates the name Salvatore Garcia in his mind. Even the name alone puts one under pressure, induces fear. No, he doesn't want to deal with this, but yet he doesn't want to lose his integrity. He doesn't want to be seen as a coward who doesn't want to take on a criminal who was obviously very hated, and people cheered his death. And he would have liked to be a hero for all these people. He thought about it for a while. He fancied with the thought, how would he be perceived by all these people, by the media, the lawyer who defends this poor soul, the lawyer who does the right thing. Wouldn't it have been great for him to see himself as a hero in the eyes of the media and in the eyes of the people? People would probably have cheered him, approved him, sent their support. But then he thought about the other side, the black side, the dark side, the shadows of this issue. What if he has to deal with it? Deal with the cartel? Deal with organized crime? Because even though people support him, even though people help him and will send all approvals, but in the end, they are only on social media. They are only by lip. When the cartel comes knocking, he stands all by himself. And this scares him. This scares Michael Buse. No, he would have loved to be a hero. He would have loved to be a hero for this woman, to be admired by her, by many attractive women, because Michael Buse assumes that there are a lot of women outside who are suffering from the hands of the cartel or from the hands of violent Mexican man. And he, as the hero, would have been the one who would have been able to save all these women, give them meaning, bring them back to liberty, help them to emancipate. Even though Michael Buse, he was never a feminist, and he did never care about feminism, and he most of the time in college had nothing but contempt for feminists, especially his fellow law students, these women who assumed that law should help to fight for the weak, and that a good lawyer would always fight for the weak and do his best to improve the life of those who are in need. But for Michael Buse, this was rather ridiculous. A lawyer, first of all, you do the right thing, even though it was never really clear for Michael Buse what is the right thing, what you do, what's what you are supposed to do. Yet fighting had always two sides of an issue. The one side is that you have to maintain yourself, so you can't fight on a hungry stomach. You can't fight when you are hungry, can you? And the second thing is that you use the courtroom in a way, in that sense, that you are being known. It is always about you. It is always about the lawyer. It is always about the person who stands in the middle of it all. No matter what people say, law and being a lawyer is always about appearances. It is always about how you appear in court, how you are being perceived. especially in America, where there are a lot of cameras in courts, you always try to maintain appearance. You do not fight just for good. Who thinks that way? This is ridiculous for Michael Buse. He looks again at Elena. He wants to be cautious, wants to find the right words. Elena, she perceives that this is probably a dead end. Again she's lost. Again she's about to drown. Drown like the day the police came knocking. Her world was in a bliss. She felt good about her life. She felt positive about the future. Her small little world, and then it was turned upside down when the police came knocking. They had a warrant of arrest for her daughter Anna Dialupe. When Elena read this, she fell out of the clouds. She could not believe it. How could this happen? Her daughter, this daughter who is like herself, a small, peaceful, pacified, nice kitten. How such a person could have ever killed anyone? And there she could read. Her daughter had killed Salvatore Garcia. Why? Why did she kill anyone? Elena did not ask her daughter and herself, why did she kill Salvatore Garcia? No, she asked herself, why did she kill it? How could she find the strength to hurt someone? How could she? Later, Elena found out that her daughter, Anna Dia, took a knife and she stabbed Salvatore Garcia many times, as if she was mad, as if she was raving mad, as if something dire had happened. Elena read the warrant over many times. Her mind, her eyes could not settle on the writing. She couldn't grasp it. She couldn't see through it. Her daughter, she was always the cherry of her eye. Her daughter was everything she was not. Her daughter is very smart. She was always known as smart. And she was the future of her. She was supposed to go to college, the first in her family. And how proud she was about Anna Dia. She lived through Anna Dia. Her life, she occasionally imagined how her life would have been when she would have been in Anna Dia's place. And then all came crumbling down. Elena stood there for a while, saw how the police handcuffed her. She would have never been able in the past even associate police handcuffs with her daughter, that her daughter has been carried away. And she saw her daughter right in the eye. She wanted to believe that everything is not right, that everything is not supposed to be that way, that there must have been some mistake, because mistakes, they happen. People are wrongly accused. But she saw in the face of her daughter a wickedness, a cold-heartedness. She saw as if her daughter would not even deny what she did. She hoped for that her daughter would yell and would make a big fuss. This is all a mistake. I'm not the one you are looking for. No, I have not killed anyone. But Elena's daughter, Anna, dear, she was silent. She was silent in a wicked way. She was silent that caught Elena off guard. She was silent as someone is silent, who would be able to even hurt a kitten, to even hurt a puppy. This was a face Elena never saw in Anna, dear. And this left her stranded. For a while she could not get up. She sat down, the warrant in her hand. This piece of document knew more about her daughter than she did. She didn't know anything. And in the beginning, she accused herself of it, that her daughter probably swayed from the right path and that she is responsible for it. That she has to bear responsibility for it. Her weakness, that she could not care for herself, that she could not get out of this body, that she could not assume a stronger personality, that she is so goddamn weak, and that she wasn't able to give her daughter guidance. She and she alone now has to struggle with it. It was hard to breathe. It was hard to get up. It was hard to find herself. And Elena, back then alone in this home, in her world, which was before that a paradise, where she thought that she had lived a good life, that she was living a good life and that everything was fine. After it was turned upside down, she almost would have given up, but then she found the courage, and this is a lot for her. She found the courage to get up. She could not believe it. She swept aside this cold-hearted, mean and indifferent facial expression of her daughter while she was taken into custody. No, she didn't wanna believe it. There has to be an explanation. Anna dear was and is her daughter. She did not fool herself. She didn't live anything else than in reality. For Elena, this was clear. No, she has to fight for her daughter. She has to fight for her life. She got up. She looked around in her home. She was alone. She felt for the first time alone in her life. She was always in company since she could think of. Since she started out, she had never lived alone in her life before. But then she was struck with it. And now Elena thinks about the big change in her life in the office of Michael Bios. She thinks about it in a great deal. How far she has developed, how far she came. This struggle for the life of her daughter, this fight for the future of her daughter made her probably a different person. Even though she could find the strength, the power and energy, yet she is always on the verge of losing it, on the verge of losing her composure, as if you just act on it, as if you just play the role of a strong personality, of a strong character, and that eventually it will fade away right at the moment when your strong person